Hello, Internet friends. Welcome back to Tea, Books, and Daisies. I'm Michelle, and today we're going to talk about a really interesting book and a tea that was unexpectedly good. The tea is called Mango Mist by Dee-Lish, and it's a black tea. So it's caffeinated. It's got really good leaves. You can see these nice, tightly twisted leaves, and then it's also got this awesome pieces of mango, like nice big pieces of mango in it actually, and lots of really good dried mango flavor. So I like this tea. But we're gonna start with the book today. I'm gonna switch things up a bit. And I'll tell you why when we get back to the tea. But our book today is called Fail Until You Don't by Bobby Bones. So Bobby Bones, not his real name, is a DJ for country music radio, mostly, on iHeartradio. He also has a podcast, two podcasts, the Bobby Bones Show, and then also the Bobbycast, which he does from his house, which I feel like is like a pet personal project. He's also a stand-up comedian, and he has a band called the Raging Idiots that he uses to raise lots and lots of money for. I had actually heard of the Raging Idiots, but I hadn't heard of him. So, Bobby Bones. So, to get to the book, first of all, take a look at this cover. Have you ever seen someone look so uncomfortable on the front of their own book? I mean, dude looks like he is in pain. And honestly, I kind of bet that's because he is. My impression of him after reading this book is he's a real self-effacing guy, and this book is seriously honest, cringeworthily honest. And I think he also probably struggles a bit with the dichotomy of being a radio personality and being on stage, and also trying to keep some of your life to yourself. And as someone who's starting out on this YouTube journey, I can kind of understand that. It's hard to do these videos, just so you know. But he's really interesting. I really liked his voice. It was very easy to read. It was a quick read because he does have a very easygoing voice, and he's also so honest. In the book, he repeats his process, which is also on the cover: fight, grind, repeat. And he reiterates in a couple of different places that this is what works for him. Your mileage may vary. And let's talk about his process. So the fight, the grind, and the repeat. The fight, simply put, is what all of us struggle with. It's, finding out what we want to do with our life in the limited amount of time we have on this planet. So what do you really want? And how bad do you want it? That's the fight. The grind is the hard work. It's okay, you make a decision on this is what I want. Now you gotta suck it up, and you kind of gotta embrace the suck and keep working and keep getting better every single day. And that's the repeat. The repeat is doing it even when you don't want to do it. It's, again, embracing the suck. It's repeating it. It's getting through the dip, learning and growing and doing better tomorrow. And for a lot of us, myself included, sometimes just getting up and doing it again tomorrow is quite a bit of the success. And then you keep doing it until, as the title of the book says, you fail until you don't. You keep doing it, you keep grinding, you just keep getting up every time you're knocked down. And he goes into some really honest stories about the times that he failed, and he draws a line between his failures and his successes. One of the things he does, which is also something I do, I started doing it back in college, was whenever I have a bad day, or I feel like I've done something embarrassing or wrong or just cringeworthy, I give myself 48 hours to feel bad about it, to really absorb it, really let it in my being, and then after 48 hours, I force myself to let it go, to stop thinking about it. It's not always easy, but that's part of the grind, is just moving on, continuing forward, doing what you want to do. If you decide to take up that particular coping mechanism, I highly recommend getting a journal and write it all down, all the details, as specific as you can be, and then set it aside. One of the things I admire about Mr. Bobby Bones is he's written the literary equivalent of walking out in public with your skirt tucked into the back of your knickers. He has some really embarrassing anecdotes and moments that he talks about honestly, pragmatically, and he does a really good job of drawing a line between those embarrassing moments and failures to his successes, even if they're a micro success. And I really like that about him. I liked that about the book. He had an anecdote, and he showed why it was important, how that led to a success. And not always a blinding success. Again, a micro success. Just one more step in the path. And that the failures and the subsequent grind are the only way success happens. That there may be lottery winners out there, but there's really no such thing as an overnight success. Only people who kept failing and kept getting up. So that's the book. Really liked it. Let's talk about the tea. So I put the tea second because it's a bit of a stretch. I had a hard time coming up with a tea. Nothing really struck me as perfect. He lives in Nashville, and I picked Mango Mist. And again, it's Mango Mist by Dee-Lish. Nice black tea. I made it in 2 different ways. I made it hot and cold for you guys. But the reason I picked mango is because one of his anecdotes in the book is that he spends Christmas in Hawaii, finishing this book actually. He spends Christmas in Hawaii. He'd just broken up with his girlfriend, so he's all alone at Christmas in Hawaii. And he promised his therapist that he would leave the hotel room at least twice a day. Again, he's really honest in this book. But Hawaii made me think of the tropics and pineapples and mangoes. I knew I had this mango tea in my cabinet, and I'd been wanting to try it, so this was my excuse. So that's how we got to Mango Mist, was the Christmas he spent in Hawaii. And I made it hot and cold. Hot, you can taste the mango on the front and the back, so you get a nice, steady mango taste. It's a really bold tea. It's definitely a black tea, no doubt about that. But I like the mango in it. If you're looking for something a little different, especially in the summertime, if you just want a summery tea, this is definitely a summery tea. But I also made it iced. And if you look at the ice, so there's a little bit of condensation on this glass, but look at the color of that tea. It is a beautiful caramel color. And even iced, you really get a good mango flavor. You know what this would be perfect for? As an iced tea, this would be perfect for like a brunch or a baby shower. This would be the perfect tea to have at a Sunday afternoon baby shower. This would be excellent. It would also not be bad, I bet, if you mixed it with a little lemonade. So let's get to the daisy. I would give this book and tea combination 4.5 daisies. And here's the reason why. As a self-help book, it's really easy to read. It's a really quick read. I think I read it in a couple of days. I read most of it on an airplane, and then I finished it up the next night in the hotel. And this is also a really good book, I think, for some of my guy friends. As a self-help book, I think guys could bond with him a little bit better than maybe some of the other self-help books that I've read. He's such a pragmatic guy. I mean, he boxes, he talks about getting in the ring and getting his butt kicked. I think guys would really be able to bond with this book and get a lot out of it. And again, he's very pragmatic. really easy reading style. I would read this again, so I'd give it 4.5. And same with the tea. I can think of a lot of different ways to drink this tea. I can drink it hot and cold, always a plus. And it's a great tea for the summer when you're looking for something a little different, you want something a little summery. This is a good tea. So 4.5 daisies for these two. What do you know? In the meantime, until next time, remember that life is always better with a good book and even a glass of tea in your hand. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.